Yep. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is well for this beautiful, amazing Thursday. And I've got such a wonderful, inspiring, educational guest, my dear friend Trevor, who is an absolute blessing, who I had the privilege and honor to be with on Tuesday. And yeah, I'm so honored to have him back, seeing him again, and we're going to be talking to him about all things military and his YouTube channel and his life. And guys, please give Trevor a warm welcome to the channel, to the family. I know a lot of you already know who Trevor is, but in case you don't, he's the inspirational, educational human being. He's done a lot of military service. I'm actually going to read some brief notes that I wrote down from a lot of the history I already know about Trevor. He's a veteran of the armed forces, known as Sergeant Lance Corporal Trevor, awarded the highest award by Queen Elizabeth in 2006, which he got the Military Cross. He's also known as the Veteran Campaigner. He's raised over 250k for veteran causes in the UK. His petition in 2021 received royal assent from the Queen. He's a published author of 2 books, First into Sanging and Exploitation. Please, guys, grab yourself a copy of the book. It's a wonderful educational read. If you haven't read it already, please go and grab your copy. I'll link the Amazon link down below for one that I used. He's a patron for Veterans in Action charity. He joined the Royal Irish Regiment in 1994, where he served for 19 years. He was deployed to Northern Ireland, Canada, Kenya, United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Germany, and Afghanistan. He completed 10 operational tours. At the end of his career, he rose to the rank of Colour Sergeant. He was also presented with the Presidential Seal by the President of the United States of America, by George Bush, on the 17th of March in 2008 at the White House. So that's just a little bit of background about who Trevor is. And I will let Trevor have the floor so he can introduce himself.
Wow, Gemma, that was a lot to take in. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I'm not a patron anymore for Veterans in Action. I stopped that maybe about 4 years ago, and it was a decision I made. I spoke to Billy McLeod, who's the CEO of Veterans in Action, and we can't. I had to tell him, I said, Billy, I'm going to start doing stuff which is going to upset you. It's probably going to bring in a lot of negativity to your charity. So it's best that I step down as a patron so I'm not associated with you. And he was like, what are you going to do? And I went, well, I'm going to start annoying politicians. I'm going to start doing things in the paper to have a go with the MOD. And if I'm associated with your charity, it may look bad. So Billy said, okay. So I stood down from helping that charity. But I now do, I'm now ambassador for PTSD Resolution, which is a charity that helps veterans with mental health. But
of course, yeah.
Yeah. I just take each day as it comes now, Gemma, a bit like you. I can afford to have coffees and chill out days with you.
Right. Yeah, Trevor is an amazing human being, guys. I have had the privilege of meeting Trevor twice in person, and he's an absolute gent. What you see is what you get with him. He's very honest. We have a lot in common. We're both advocates of mental health. We've both experienced mental health struggles, especially Trevor more than me, but I experience it in my own different way from what Trevor has. But
are you trying to say, Gemma? Are you trying to say, Gemma, that we're both broken? Is that what you're trying to say, Gemma?
Well, not broken, no, Trevor, but the struggles, yes. I would never say one's broken because that will get me.
Oh no,
if I say someone's broken,
yeah.
I'm going to get myself walloped. Yeah, no. As we know, free speech is, let's just say, non-existent.
Well, listen, how's your day been? How have you been today?
Yeah, my day's been really good. Unfortunately, my plans did change. I was meant to be at the hairdresser's at 10:15 this morning. I get a phone call. My hairdresser's been taken ill to the hospital. She's very, very poorly. And so I kind of was like, uh-oh, my brain starts getting into all sorts of panic. And I kind of sat here and I was like, okay, Gemma, keep focused, get your head down. And I just started doing research on different topics for my channel. And I'm like, I was going to message you and go, oh, do you want to come on early? I'm thinking, no, Jeremy's probably busy, leave it. So I kind of made myself busy and did chores. So I've kind of been trying to make myself busy for the last 5-6 hours. I'm like, oh my God, what the hell am I doing? So then I threw myself into research.
You should have said, you don't need to research me. Honestly, just ask me any questions you want. I'll tell you. You don't need to do that. There's not much to know. I think recent stuff about me has just been all negative because of the amount of negativity thrown at me, sort of overtakes the media type things. But just ask me anything. I'll let you know.
Yeah. Of course, to me, it's just I want to make sure that I don't cross certain personal boundaries. I know some people have boundaries. You think, well, no, I probably shouldn't have crossed that. And that's why I said to you, in Instagram that I'm very wary of certain areas that people don't want to touch or don't want to bring up. That's why I said to you that I want to make sure that I didn't.
I don't have boundaries, Gemma. I understand.
I know you don't, but it's a respect thing from me to you as your friend, as someone that I class as family. I don't want to cross that boundary with you, so it's just a respect thing from me to go careful.
Well, thank
Gemma.
you. Well, thank you. But you know what? My life's pretty much out there anyway for people to know. So I don't have any.
You are. This is the thing I love about you, Trevor, because you are very open. Like you say, you are very honest. You've put your life out there for service, and a lot of people already know, presumably, who you are. But for those of you who don't know who Trevor is, I can't say enough good things about this guy. Trevor is amazing. He's so genuine.
That's enough. No more. Trevor's amazing. You mean you're the only person that tells me?
I'm being told off now.
You're the only person that tells me that these days, but no, it's okay. That's all good. Listen, I do what I can to sort of help the odd one. I don't do. If I'm honest, Gemma, I've completely stopped being that person that reaches out to help veterans. I don't do it anymore because, first of all, and I hate to say it, the veterans community is a bit of a toxic community, and for every 3 you help, 2 will stick a knife in your back. So I don't do it now. I don't bother. The most important veteran to me is me, and then personal friends that I know that always need a hand. But as far as going out there on a limb these days to do something, it's not worth the mental health stress. So I just don't do it. I'd rather champion things like Fatima Whitbread, helping children, action children and stuff like that, where she does great. I'd rather help to promote certain things where you're going to achieve something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
this is where we're very similar, Trevor. We promote causes that are close to us, and obviously with me, it's autism and kind of mental health because of how I experienced the world myself. So that's where me and you interlink a bit, because it's like we both experienced the mental health side of things, and for me, I'm like, I want to raise the profile of autism because it's kind of no one really knows how it affects someone. So with you getting to know me and how I work and my communication, like you're one of the first people that actually have understood me on a more personal level. That I'm not very good at usually opening up to people. I'm kind of guarded, but with you it's kind of like an instant connection. I felt safe with you, and I felt like I could just open up and be myself, whereas that takes a lot for me to do that. So for me, it was like there was that connection there with you already.
Well, thanks, Gemma. The secret to connecting with people is treat them like you're talking to yourself. If you start to talk down to people and you belittle people, you're never going to be able to get anyone on your side. You have to treat everyone like yourself, or else there's no point. I see that happen quite a lot. Yeah. I mean, I was at a function maybe about 2 weeks ago, I think, with Gwen, I'm my ex-wife and my son, and we were there. And I noticed a lot of people coming in were of a different tier. They were off a different tier, and I could see them, and they were like, in fact, but I just play with that idea. I used to just go and I used to be offended by the way people looked at me.
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I know that everyone's got their own battle. So whenever people maybe look at you the wrong way, it's not necessarily anything to do with you. It's to do with them. So don't be offended all the time about what people are doing, which is what we're seeing today. But treat them properly, Gemma.
Yeah, but this is the thing. Like you've taught me that. That I was just going to say, you know, you've taught me that recently. You know, like don't be offended as much, and don't rise to like the people who don't like me and stuff. And that's where I see you being quite strong, because you don't get, I guess, hurt by it or react to it. And that's what I like about you, because you're very like, oh, I don't care, just brush it off. Whereas I used to react all the time. Whereas now I'm like, you know what? So what? It's one person who doesn't like me. So it's kind of, I've learned to shift it off a little bit better. But I used to react so quickly all the time. I'd get upset and, you know, snap and be upset. But now I'm like, what can I do? There's one person that doesn't like me. So it's hard.
Gemma, honestly, one person doesn't like you. There's probably a few people that actually despise you, Gemma, but that's nothing to do
Yeah.
with you. That's to do with them, though. That's how they see life. Some
Yeah.
people, we spoke the other day about a YouTuber who doesn't like you, and I said, well, let's look at them. And I looked at that YouTuber and I said to you,
Yes,
well,
you did. Yeah.
they've got half your subscribers. They're getting a third of your views. They're looking at you and they're thinking, even though they're meant to be a medic, very, very, very nasty the way they treat someone with disabilities. But
Yep.
it's more their issue. So all you got to do is just block and delete them from your YouTube, and you never see them again. Like we had this chat where you're never going to please everyone, but that's not your job to please everyone. As long as you're happy in your little bubble and everything around you, you've got good people around you, that's all that should matter. Don't worry about what you can't control.
Absolutely. This is what you've taught me. And, you know, I've learned to be a bit more tough about the way that I communicate with people. And I think also because my topic is seen as controversial, and that's the trouble. A lot of people go, oh, they hear the word autism or autistic or the word spectrum, and they think, oh, it comes back as, oh, you're broken or you're ill or you're sick. And it's like, well, no, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I want to break that stigma to go, hey, just because I have autism doesn't mean I'm damaged or I'm sick. But the stereotype is, oh, well, you're disabled or you can't do this. It's like, actually, I can. I'm proving to you I can do it. It's just I communicate in a different way that's not the norm. And the norm doesn't exist, in my opinion.
Yeah, what is normal? Exactly. We're all different. You're in a way, and I'm going to use this word, delicate. You are delicate, and you let
I'm
things
not going to disagree with that.
You let things manifest and eat away at you, and you need to get tougher. You need to get tougher. YouTube is a place where all walks of life are in here. There's some very, very nasty people, but there's also some great people on YouTube that support you. But you're always going to get nasty people as well. YouTube's dog eat dog.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that extra subscriber. Everybody wants that extra view. And unfortunately, it brings out the best in some people, but it also brings out a side to people that you think, whoa, it's a bit weird. But don't let it get to you, Gemma.
No, I'm not. You know, I've been on YouTube nearly 10 years January, so, you know, I've learned to progress myself a little bit, and like you say, started to toughen up a bit more. I'm not as reactive as I used to be when I first got on this platform. God, yeah, I'd react to every little troll comment. I would flip my switch and get upset. But now I often just be like, oh, okay, one person's going to hate me. There's going to be probably more than one person that hates me. I've got used to it. So it's kind of, you get used to be on YouTube. Like you said, you have to kind of get a thick skin over the years. And I've learned to develop myself in a way I'm like, oh, well, that's one comment, move on. And then I just carry on doing what I'm doing. And I know you've experienced that too. So I know you've had a lot of hate and people judging you. How do you deal with it?
Well, I've had to change my mindset, Gemma, because originally whenever I used to get the hatred, I used to respond to it. I used to respond to it all.
Yes, you did.
I'd be like, where are you? I'll come and beat you up, all that crap. But now I just like I use it as fuel. I use people's negativity as fuel to burn the fire inside me, to make me want to do the next video better, or a better thumbnail, or better promotion. Or, for instance, as you see my Instagram today, all I do is I take about 50 selfies of myself in different positions, and then I turn it into a video. like thank you, and I just wind people up. So I use people,
Yeah.
I use people's negative. I use everyone's negativity, which I must admit, I get 99.9% positivity on my YouTube. My YouTube, my
Yes, you do.
Trevorites, my little army are brilliant. I get the odd troll come in, but you know what?
Yeah.
Whenever I just use it, I use it to thrive off, to lift myself. That's it. Because if I was to get perfect comments every day, oh, Trevor this, Trevor that, oh, wonderful. You start to rest on your laurels and go, I don't need to do much. I can just chill. If you're getting nothing but great comments. So truthfully, I believe you need that negativity to keep your fire inside you burning, to keep
Oh
progressing.
yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
use it, use it, use it or lose it. Use the negativity.
Exactly, because it helps you to, like you say, build strength and to help you keep
Yeah.
motivated. And that's kind of what I've learned over the last couple of 3 years, to not let it affect me. I'm like, you know what? That just makes me stronger to come back, do the next video, do the next stream. I keep coming back, and people are like, oh, Gemma's toughened up a bit. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I don't want them to think, oh, they've got the satisfaction of winning against me. So I come back harder and stronger. And I'm like, you know what? My channel's positive a lot of the time. I try and update people about topics that are controversial and in the autism world, disability world, and people are, oh, why would Gemma do that? I'm like, that gives me the fuel power. I'm like, I'll use one of my haters as the example. I'm like, well, this has happened, and then people are, oh wow, Gemma's spoken up against it, whereas before I wouldn't. So now I'm, like you said, I've used it as fuel to motivate myself. So it's been kind of a good thing to toughen me up on the platform. And I think I've learned to communicate a lot better, because let's face it, in local community, I'm kind of, I guess, not as strong communicating as I am online. But online, I'm like, I can actually be more myself. And yeah, it's amazing how people change online and how much I've grown since being on YouTube. It's been a rough ride, but I love it. I love YouTube. I think it's great. And meeting you and Penny and other people in my chat, it's changed my world.
Well, look at what you're trying to achieve, and look at what you're giving out. So you are an autistic woman trying to educate people in autism, right?
Yep.
You may have people that have autism that are watching your channel. So you're going to bring in a lot of people that are autistic to your channel.
Yes.
But there's different types of people that have autism. You're going to have people that are fixated in you who have autism. So you're going to bring in people as well that are beautiful people, but you're also going to bring in some crazies, and that's the ones you've got to watch. That's the ones you've got to block. Do you know what I mean?
Yep,
It's
the
true, though,
crazies.
isn't it?
Yep. Yeah. Oh
Exactly.
yeah. I've learned that as of recently. Yeah. Thank you, Gwen. Hey, Frugal Stew. Hey, Vicky, Penny. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for coming in. I've learned so much over the last little while. How to try and communicate with people and meeting the right kind of people, and having my family network of people like you, Trevor, and everyone in my chat who supports me. And I'm very blessed, because I used to be so, before on YouTube, I was a completely different Gemma. I was very socially withdrawn. I was very awkward. I wouldn't go out. And now, when I go outside and do things like seeing Trevor, I'm completely more confident. Whereas I used to be this, I guess, this sheltered little woman, because I was very protected by my mum, my dad. It was kind of like, oh, Gemma can't do this, Gemma can't do that. And I kind of sunk and believed it. It was kind of like, oh, well, if my dad's with me or my mum's with me, then I can't do it by myself. And I kind of learnt to be under their rule a little bit. Whereas now, living on my own, I'm like, what the hell was that? So it's kind of, I've learnt to do everything by myself, pay bills, do cooking, be independent. And I've been living on my own 8 years, be 9 years January, I'll be on my own. I'm like, I would never do this. In a million years did I ever think I'll be on my own? No. But I'm proving people wrong again. They'd say, oh, you'll be with mum and dad for the rest of your life, you'll be dependent. I'm like, hello, no, I'm not. I've proved everybody wrong.
Who said that to you, though, that you'd be with your mum and dad? You'll be with mum and dad?
Family, some friends that I used to be around.
Oh, Gemma.
Like, I got told that.
See, your biggest supporters, they're the same as your biggest haters, and it's normally family. It really is. I mean,
Yeah.
Everyone's got not necessarily everyone's got good parents. I'm just going to say I do. I'm just saying, but not everyone does. You'll have people in your family that'll talk down to you, like, Gemma, are you okay, Gemma? And we spoke about this the other day.
Yeah, don't we
And
know it?
that's the ones you just want to strangle. But oh my God, should I have said that? Will that be cut in a video where Trevor threatened to strangle someone? I don't know. Let's pretend. But you've got to be aware that a lot of people think that because they're in your family and because they're flesh and blood, that gives them the God-given right to talk down to you when it doesn't.
No, not at all.
Your dad seems decent. He does.
My dad's amazing. You know, he's one of my biggest like advocate supporters. Like, every time if I do my videos on YouTube, he'll check with me. Like if I say to him, I'm filming about this topic, and usually like he'll run past the topic with me. He's like, right, what's the topic? What's the article? I'm like, this is the topic. This is what I want to do. And sometimes he'll be like, Gemma, nah, you probably shouldn't do that. I'm like, okay.
Is he watching you tonight, Gemma? Is he watching you tonight?
Yes, he is. Yeah, he's in the background watching. He's working right now, but he knows
he's always watching.
Live, so
he's got to keep an eye on you. Someone's got to keep you right.
Yeah, my dad will keep me in check. Oh gosh, my dad will discipline me if he thinks I've done something wrong. Believe me, my dad would be the first person to call me, be like, "What are you doing?"
It's a dad's job. Now I know there's people that only have mums, but yeah, that's a parent's job to sort of, no matter how old you get, you're always going to be their kid. You're always going to be their child. They'll always discipline you if you step out of line.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my dad's always the first one to tell me. Like he'll phone me and he'll be like, Gemma, and he'll kind of get authoritative with me. He's like, what the hell are you thinking? I'm like, what? And then he'll be like, I don't like the way that you did that, or I don't like what you said. And like he critiques my videos behind the scenes for me. He'll give me advice like, Gemma, that was a bit, rude or forceful. That was a bit out of line for you. Why did you do that? And he'll often give me tips. He's like, next time, Gemma, change your tone a little bit. Don't be so rude. And he'll give me little things that I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. And I re-listen to the video. I'm like, wow, okay, maybe I was a bit out of line. So I kind of now think, oh, Gemma, watch it a bit. So yeah, it's, hey Mary, thank you so much for the donation. Thank you so much. That's amazing. Like, I'm very blessed that I have, like you say, the right friends and the right family. And, it's the same with you, Trevor. You have a lot of faithful, friends, supporters that support you. And that's amazing to see, because you deserve that and loads more. You do so much work for everyone. Well, and
I had an upsetting email today from YouTube. They are not going to give me my 100,000 subscriber plaque.
What? Why?
Because they said that my channel had restrictions. While it had restrictions, I wasn't entitled to the plaque.
That's insane. YouTube, come on, sort your stuff out. That's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry, but
it just goes from one thing to the other. One thing to the other. But you know what? I'm used to setbacks from YouTube.
No, but it's not the point, Trevor. You work so hard for people like me and others who struggle with mental health issues and who have been in the service, such as yourself. And, you do a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't realise. And YouTube should acknowledge that. And you should have a plaque regardless if your channel had that restrictions or not. It shouldn't have mattered. That plaque is rightfully yours. You've earned it. You've got the watch time, the hours. You've got the subscribe account for it. It shouldn't matter. That's just to me. It's politically
to them challenged. It matters, but Gemma, to them it matters. To me, you know what? Okay, I'll not get one. But you know what? These things happen. I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm just going to keep focused.
We'll have to get you one made. There we go. That's a challenge. Get Trevor a YouTube plaque made and get it sent to him, so then he at least can be acknowledged by his supporter base and have it on his wall, regardless of YouTube. I think that'd be hilarious. Get someone to make one and put his name and little picture on it. I think that'd be swell. I think it'd be a right good idea.
Well, at the minute, I'm not going to dwell on it. I found out today.
No, fair enough. I'm just saying, as a supporter thing, it'd be a good thing for you to get, regardless of YouTube, And I've actually got there's a few questions that are already coming in the chat, but I've got a few questions. What is your vision, your goal for the future?
My vision and goal. Oh, right. next year, I want to buy a house and settle down in a house and have my own little studio to do my own little stuff in there. So that's for next year.
Awesome.
I want to finish this other book, get it published, and then honestly, right next year. Once I get a house next year and settle down and get it all the way I want it, and I get this book out, I'm probably going to come off the internet, come off YouTube, come off everything, and I'm just gonna sort of retire from everything. I'm gonna delete YouTube, delete everything there is on social media, delete Instagram, and I'm not going to go on the internet anymore. I'm just going to spend time with my son and just relax. So, and I'm hoping that's going to be within 12 months. Just get away from everything. No more online, no more GB News, no more interviews, no more podcasts, and just enjoy the rest of my life. That's what my plan is.
Oh wow, okay, I understand that. Obviously, like, because YouTube does take away from family life. I understand that myself, because being on YouTube all the time, trying to do, like you say, interviews, podcasts, and videos, and live streaming, I didn't realize how much time it took away from my own family. Like, the first couple of years, I was bolt to leather, doing stuff every day, constantly, and it got to a point where my dad actually came round here. And he was so angry. I've never seen my dad that angry. And he banged on the door. And he goes, "We need to talk." I'm like, "Uh-oh." And he came to my front room, folded his arms at me. He goes, "Right." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm in the doghouse. What have I done now?" And then he sat down. He cried. He goes, "Do you realize how much time YouTube took away from you and me, Gemma?" I was like, "No. What do you mean? You're being silly." And he was like, "No, Gemma, look at all this time that we could have gone out and done stuff, and you've chosen to be at home on the computer." And I kind of look back at it now. I'm like, wow, Gemma, your dad's done so much for you, and you've kind of just kicked him in the balls and gone, screw you, because you'd rather be on the computer. And it kind of really hurt me, to the fact that I then started taking weekends off. I was like, you know what? I need to spend time with my mum, my dad. They're not going to be around forever. They're getting older. And that kind of put a lump on my throat. I'm like, Gemma, knock it off. Knock your behaviour off. You're being a complete sport brat. You're being nasty. You're being vile. And you need to change.
Whoa. Who said this? Who says all this to you?
Family members and other people.
That doesn't sound like a very nice family, Gemma, if I'm being honest. Now, no. YouTube is something that you can do in your room. So you can go out all day and spend time with your dad, spend time with your loved ones and friends. And YouTube is something you can do. You do it in your room. So it's not like you're taking it away. You're taking time away from family members, because you're already in your room. So you just need, I think you need to replan things a little bit, because if you're focusing on YouTube and you're letting the world go by, well then the wording, I didn't like the wording there. You're vile, you're this, you're that. That's nasty. Family members should never say that to you.
No, unfortunately, it's been said to me a few times, and now I understand. Kind of, I know they didn't mean it that way, but I think it was because I was so addicted at the very beginning, and up until maybe 3-4 years into my YouTube, and then I'm like, okay, Gemma, I see where they're going with this, and I needed to take a step away, and now I'm more balanced. I have a more easy schedule. So like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will take off as my weekend. I'm like, okay, I'm gone. I'm going to stay away from YouTube, and I'm going to spend time with family. So my weekend is my Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm like, right, I'm outdoors. I'm with my nephew or my sister, and I'll just take off. And during the week, I can be on YouTube during the week all day long. Fine. Weekends, no, Gemma, I'll take weekends off. So,
Gemma, first of all, don't let people talk to you like that. You know, if these are meant to be loved ones speaking like that, that doesn't sound very much loving. You need to change your routine, I think. My routine is quite, you don't need to, I'm not giving you my routine, but I'll tell you how I plan YouTube. Every morning I get up, I make my son, I make breakfast, and I take the dog for a walk, and this is around about 7 a.m. Breakfast is made, we're all ready to go. I'll then sit down with a cup of Soldier On coffee from the Soldier On Coffee Company, and I will sit there and I'll look at my phone with a piece of paper and a pen, and I'll write down, I'll see the headlines, and I'll write down about 5 or 6 topics. That's my video done for the morning. I've got my topics, and I'll put my spin, my opinion on the topics. I'll have my video done from about 8:30 between 8:30 and 9:30. That's it done
Yeah.
for the day. That's it done. And I'm not eating into anyone's time. I'm not eating into taking my dog out for a walk. I'm not eating into maybe
No.
helping my ex-wife out if she needs it, or going to see Gwen. I mean, so try and get a routine like that where you're not going to ruin your day, and then you will plan it. Plan each day. And if you get into your routine of having it done first thing in the morning, or if you're going to do a live, do one a week. Don't do too many lives, because people, if you do too many lives, Gemma, you're going to get 15 people that watch them.
Yeah.
10 people that watch them. If you do one a week, you might get 30 people that watch it. So try and work out what's best for you. But you shouldn't be eating away at time with your dad, though, because the truth is you've only got one dad. You've only got one set of parents.
Exactly. This is the thing that I realised, you know, I'm more aware now. I spend more time with him. I said to him yesterday, I spent some time with him yesterday, and he goes, Gemma, do you know what? He goes, you know, at the beginning, like, my kind of dad wasn't sure why I was going to cope with YouTube and what the point was, and then now he's kind of become my biggest supporter about it. But you need to balance time. It's the schedule. I do have a schedule written down in my diary. I'm like, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to do my uploads, and then during the week I may throw an odd live up just to chill and chat with
Penny
people.
Just
but
said there,
I'm going to start taking evenings off.
Penny just said that she thinks you've got a routine already. I take it.
Yeah, I do have more of a routine now than I used to. I think a couple of 3 years ago I didn't, because I didn't know what I was doing, whereas now I kind of have a more settled routine. But it's still work in progress. I still need to mentally prepare what I'm doing. But like I said to you, Trevor, I have my diary to kind of keep myself on track. I'm like, okay, what am I doing today? And I plan my videos, I plan my uploads. I'm like, okay, boom, 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 I'm done. And like now I'm getting myself to bed because I was
We've
staying
all
up
got
for
diaries, Gemma. Diaries keep us going. Without diaries, we would forget what we're doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My diary is always with me. My journal's next to me, so I do my journal, my diary. I've got my script here with my notes on. And a lot of people go, "Oh, Gemma, like, you know, I'm becoming more relaxed and less scripted." So the next question I have for you links nicely into this. I see on the article that I read about you earlier that you were considered interested in politics. Would you ever consider running for office?
I'm actually going to give a speech in 10 days, in just over a week. I'm going to give a speech at a political party conference about veterans.
Oh,
wow. But as for politics, no, because I wouldn't last 5 minutes, because I would tell someone to F off, or I'd grip someone. The truth is, Gemma, it's not for me, because I'm too hot-headed and I can't deal with nonsense. I just can't deal with it. I mean, I see Penny's in here. She knows TAF, isn't it? So no, Paz.
Yeah.
She knows Paz.
Yeah, Paz.
Paz is the same. Paz wouldn't last 5 minutes in politics, because he would tell someone he'd grip someone too. So us veterans are. It's true though. I mean, have you heard Paz?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes.
Yeah, I've watched Paz.
Sometimes when I listen to Paz, I sort of get like, I giggle, because he's covering this. He speaks the same way I would speak, obviously in a different accent. But a lot of veterans like Paz and me wouldn't last 5 minutes in politics, because we would go in hot-headed, we would say something non-PC, and we get the sack on day 2. So politics isn't for me. And the day I become, if you nail down a party, you go, well, I'm going to be with that party. You then have to toe the line, and I don't like having to toe the line. I like to be open and be able to. I like to criticize every party, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. That's what we should be doing. We should be able to critique everybody, you know, within reason. We should be able to say what we want to say in our opinions, and that's something I've learned recently. There is certain ways of saying things and doing things. I'm like, you have to be careful on certain issues. And when I read that you were interested in politics, I was like, oh, man after my own heart, because I'm very politically active. I do a lot of political meetings. I've been doing a lot of political meetings recently. And I'm just like, wow, like the power of having a veteran like you in politics would be amazing in my eyes, because finally the parliament would be woken up to actual truth and experiences.
Well, as I said, well, Penny's saying that she's good friend with Paz, right?
Yeah, she is.
I'm using Paz as an example because I know Penny's watching. But do you think Paz would last 5 minutes in government? Me and him wouldn't
No,
last 5
probably
minutes in
not.
government because we're too outspoken and we don't. The thing is, whenever you're a veteran and you've been around the block and you've seen things and you've done things and you're in your 40s, let's say, or late 30s, you're sort of seasoned and you understand what's going on. You're not woke. And today's culture would have me and people like Paz cancelled. They really would, and I can understand why, because you know what I mean. It's we wouldn't last 5 minutes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but no worries. It's just something I read about. You know, I was like, wow, I had to ask that because I was like, woohoo, someone who actually is interested in the same thing as me. So it's interesting for me to know, you know, how you experience it. During your time in the army, what was something that you enjoyed and why?
Oh, sounds weird saying this. I enjoyed traveling. That was a good thing, traveling abroad. But the weird thing is, I enjoyed combat fighting. Even though it broke me, I enjoyed it. I got a buzz from being under pressure, in the midst of things. I used to thrive off it. I mean, I got a buzz. I wanted out on the ground. I wanted to go and do these things. Obviously, I wasn't very successful at it, but I enjoyed that chase, that adrenaline rush.
Yeah. I would disagree with you saying that you weren't successful. You're one of the most successful, colourful veterans within your service, and what I've read here, to be presented with the military cross and the presidential seal, like that's, to me, that's really rare to come by. To read something of that high distinction, you've outshone a lot of people, and to see what you've gone through and what I've read about you is outstanding. Like, you, not a lot of veterans get that high award, so for you to get that is a real special achievement in itself.
Well, thank you, Gemma. I don't think the award doesn't live up to the operation, because I've never really liked how awards work. Honors and awards, okay. I think I don't like honors and awards. To pick one person out of a firefight, of an operation, and to say he deserves this, I've never really agreed with that, because, for instance, I cannot go and do my job unless 22 of my men, 30 of my men are doing their job. So if one of my men was to be injured and shot, he wouldn't be able to carry out his duties, which means someone else would have to do that, and it has a knock-on effect. So this is a massive team effort. I would like to see the honor and award system changed. Okay, you can get a Victoria Cross for doing something brave, but when it comes to an effort where it had to be a team effort, then there's no reason why you can't give out an award to the unit. This unit achieved this in operations. This unit, this company, C company achieved this. C company's now got a conspicuous gallantry cross. But to pick an individual, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm honoured to receive an award, but I believe it was a team effort, and without it being a team effort, then I just don't like it. Because see, if it's not a team effort and you start to live off your own nonsense, going, "Oh, haha, look what I got," you start to put yourself on a pedestal.
Yeah, I understand that. But again, it was well deserved. You know, you put your life on the line for a lot of people, and you know, you protected your comrades, and obviously there's things we can't mention, but you know, you were someone who protected your fellow servicemen, servicewomen, and you know, you are someone who's incredibly lucky the way that you were able to interact with people. And what I read about you, I'm just like, wow, you know, you're just such an inspirational guy, and to serve in all the different countries that I listed earlier is just amazing in itself. And another military question I've got here is, since your time in the army, since you've retired, would you encourage others to join the army? If not, why?
No, I would never encourage anyone to join the British Army, the forces now. I don't think it's a I don't think it's a good move. If anything, I wish children would stay away from it, because
Okay.
maybe that's why I'm not an ambassador for the Army Cadets. I don't encourage anyone to join the British Army. The British Army at the minute is in such disarray, and
Yeah.
I've seen many veterans struggle to get compensation, struggle to get care, struggle to get housing, homelessness. Why would I encourage anyone to join a system which basically abandons them at the far end when they're injured? If we manage, now Johnny Mercer did say this year, the Veterans Minister, this year he was going to end veterans homelessness. He still hasn't done it,
Yeah.
because you can't make a promise that you can't achieve. So I honestly wouldn't encourage anyone to join the military until the system's fixed, and I don't think the system will ever be fixed, because our
Absolutely.
politicians are too greedy. So the answer is no.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree that politicians are greedy and the system is broken. The system needs a complete overhaul, not just
Yeah.
within the MOD, the army side of things, but I think the whole government system with regards to mental health, NHS, everything needs a total overhaul, especially for right now. And with regards to autism, for an adult diagnosis, you're waiting 3 years, and no one should have to wait 3 years for treatment. Nobody. And it's just beyond unacceptable. The whole system just doesn't work for purpose, and unfortunately it's going to get worse. And I just dread to think all the people like yourself who have come out of combat and experienced the most traumatic things that I'll never ever be able to think about or even begin to sympathize with. But where is the help for you guys? Where is the help for the veterans? Where is the help for the ones that come out with traumatic stress and
Well,
traumatic disorders and stuff?
it's that disjointed. That's why I came off Facebook. Because Facebook's so disjointed. Facebook has something like 57,000 veterans pages and groups. There's currently, my last check, I think there was 2,500 UK veterans charities, and
Yeah.
every charity claims to have the answers. Every charity can fix you, but they're not doing it. So veterans are a commodity which helps pay CEOs wages. It's the same as charity, same as autism. You're never going to be able to fix autism or fix any of these issues, social issues, because
Nope.
if you fix it, let's say, okay, there's enough veterans charities, right? If every veterans charity in the UK housed 3 veterans a year, 3 veterans,
Yeah.
there would be no homeless veterans. So why are they not being housed? Because then when you house them, you get rid of the issue. You put thousands of people on the dole who live off those wages and collecting money and see. So the fact is, charity is not charity. Charity is a business, and you're never going to be able to fix these issues because people are making money off the back of them. It's got nothing to do with it. It's like cancer. I mean, wow. I mean,
Yeah.
trillions has been raised for cancer, and in a lot of the things, they're no further forward. Yet they fixed COVID in 28 days. So I disagree with charities, if I'm honest. I don't think they work. I really don't.
Yeah.
If you,
I agree with you. It's about greed. It comes down to greed, and we're no further forward.
The only people that will fix autism will be people that are autistic, that want to fix it. The only people that will help homeless veterans will be other veterans. Will give them jobs and other things.
Yeah.
The only people exactly. The only people that will get rid of homelessness will be people that were previously homeless and have made it. So the system's flawed and broken, and it's only passionate people that will fix things that they care about. In my opinion.
This is the thing. We have to stand up and advocate and fight for our rights. And I actually raised this when I went to a meeting the other day, and he said, I got asked, what are you passionate about, Gemma? I said, well, I'm passionate about obviously the rights of autistic people. I said, but I have a special interest in veterans. As a granddaughter of 2 veterans myself, and I have a friend who's a veteran, I want to see veterans get better support, including housing, employment. I said, the way they're treated and spoken to is disgusting. I said, the system's failing them badly. I said, they've put their lives on the line. They've come out of service with traumatic stress and psychological issues and everything else. I said, where is the support for them? I'd rather our veterans get better support, and then autism can wait a little while, because it's not like I'm an emergency. The veterans, in my opinion, come first, because there's more that needs to be done for veterans and healthcare rather than autism. Autism is still being researched and, found out about, whereas the veterans are the ones who are forgotten. So to me, it's more important for the veterans to get help, because you guys
Gemma,
are the ones who have come out.
You got to go from a different point of view as well, Gemma. Why should politicians support veterans when veterans don't even support veterans? I mean, my haters are veterans. They're veterans. I mean, you'll have a certain type of veteran like myself and a few others, which just want to keep. We have to have a goal. We have to keep project. We need to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
You'll have other veterans that go, I'm not doing anything. Why should I? You'll have other veterans that will go out there raising money to help other people. And then you'll have the other side of the veterans that go, where's my money? So there's a lot of victimhood. There's a lot of people running around like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in the veterans community that they're victims of everything. And so
God.
There's a lot like that. I mean, I should be front of the queue. I should have this and I should have that. And that's the ones that were in the military were actually non-achievers anyway. The ones that never up the ranks. They're everywhere. But the first thing you need to do, regardless of what it is, whether you have autism or whether you have mental health issues or whether you have PTSD, is you need to accept ownership of your issue before you move forward.
Oh yeah. This is the thing. People get so scared about when they get diagnosed with something like autism, or whether it's a mental health complex condition like PTSD or traumatic injuries. You have to start acknowledging it. And it took me, I'm not going to lie, it took me probably the first 2 years to get my head around my autism diagnosis. I was very in denial. I was angry. I smashed up a lot of things. I got quite violent, and I got so nasty to people, I will admit this, that I would call my mum and dad home wreckers. I told my parents that they'd ruined my life. I accused them of hiding things from me, and my mum was like, Gemma, cut this out. We never hid anything from you. The fact is, at the time, the NHS didn't really recognise autism. We had you tested for hearing problems when you were younger. I had occupational therapy for years. I was part of a disability riding club up until I was about 13, and even they didn't pick anything up until when I started walking funny, and they're like, oh, has Gemma been tested for autism? My mum's like, what do you mean? Oh, well, Gemma walks with a limp. And my mum's like, what do you mean? And then I looked it up on the internet, and one of the first symptoms of autism is abnormal, what they call abnormal gait walking, which means I walk on my tiptoes rather than my flat foot. I tend to walk on my tiptoes like that, which means I'm at risk of breaking my feet or my ankles. And I'm like, why did no one pick that up? I've walked on my tiptoes for years, as far back as I can remember. And no one acknowledged that until I got assessed in 2012.
Wow. Not that long ago. You've got a couple of messages coming there. Jim Davison does a lot for veterans. Yes, he does. He does. And he gets no thanks for it either from the veterans community. Failure management coach said, what's good? I don't know the end of that one.
She's basically just saying, how are you? Like, what's good? She's from the States. She's a good friend. I've known her for years on YouTube.
And Vicky
it's all good. We're good. But yeah, that's just her way of greeting people.
Yeah. Ah, okay. I didn't know that, did I? So every day's a school day for Trevor.
No, everyone learns. Like some, like with me, for example, like talking to you and researching like the military stuff about you, and I'm like, there's terms I had to like double check with myself. I'm like, what does that mean? And I had to go and look on Google. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So even for me, I'm still learning the military stuff with you. The next question I've got is, how did writing books make you feel? Because I know you're a published author. So,
honestly, right. In 2007, I got sent home from the army on a career break because my head was up my backside. I had too much going on, and they sent me home. And I was sitting in my mum's back. My safe space was in my mum's back garden, still is, sitting there watching, well, I don't know, watching the birds and the trees and all the fruit growing and the apples growing in the greenhouse and all the stuff that they grow. And I would sit there and I would at the table and just have a coffee and just relax. And I used to hear the birds and everything. It was lovely. So that was my safe space. And my mum came out one day and she says, well, why don't you write down everything in a bit of paper? Get it out. Just write down what's annoying you. Try and get it off your chest. And I went, okay. So I got an A4 pad and I started writing, whenever people say start at the start, where is the start? So I thought, well, how do I deal with what happened out there? Where did it all start? It all started here when I was training. So I started writing, and I think I remember going to my mum and going, I need another pad. And she went, what? This is like a day later. I went through the whole A4 pad. And she went and got me another pad.
Yeah.
And I went through that. So I went through about 3 or 4 A4 pads. And I'm going to be honest, I wrote first into singing. I think it took me a week. I wrote first into singing in a week. I was able to look at everything was fresh in my head, fresh memories. And I was able to sort of write it all down. And the book came first into singing. Obviously, I wrote everything, all the chapters in line in the first week I was home. So when I went back, I remember looking on my computer. I transferred all the chapters onto a Word document, and then I wrote first into singing. And it helped me get rid of a lot of stress and a lot of stuff off my chest. It helped me compartmentalize, get rid of it. And the thing is, and I had this row with the publisher a couple of days ago, actually, when they said, we've done this and done that. I said, well, I'm not checking it. Why am I checking it? Whenever I write something, to me, that's getting rid of that chapter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm paying you to proof check it. Don't give it back to me to check your proof checking. You're paid to do that. So when I write something down, I never check it. It goes. And for instance, I don't know what's in chapter 1 of First Into Singing or what's in chapter 2 or chapter 3 or I don't know, because I wrote it to get rid of it and it's gone. It's like whenever I was writing exploitation, again, where do I start? Well, let's start at I started writing that having looked at the very last chapter of my first book.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is where I finished and this is where I will continue. And I write it that way. And that's how I don't write because I'm a good writer. I'm a crap writer, but I write to get rid of the trauma. I write to get rid of the trauma, Gemma, and so that I can move forward in life.
That's why we're very similar, Trevor, me and you, because obviously I write my own poetry. I'm not a published author like you, but I use my poetry as my self-release like you, to get rid of all the sensory stress in my head, all the panic that I have in my head, as I know you witnessed in text messages today when I messaged you, and I'm like, and as soon as you said to me, stop writing, I was like, okay. I start sitting down and I actually wrote a poem after I messaged you. And I'm like, go and calm down, get your notepad out, get your pens out, and just self-think. And I wrote a poem, and I was like, now I feel better. I just sat here and I'm like, the whole weight of the world just disappeared. I'm like, just for 5 minutes I could get a breather. And I'm like, I love it. I love writing. I love it. I think it's so therapeutic.
Yeah. Well, it's people, I mean, I know guys out there that are great authors. They're great at writing. And the way they tell a story is brilliant. I don't know how to write. I don't know how to be. I don't know. Okay, I've published things, but I don't know the process. I don't know. I have my own way of doing things, and it doesn't sort of necessarily tie in with the conventional author. I don't know how that works. I just sort of, in my mind, I need to get to an area where if something's really annoying me and holding me down in life, I need to make sure that I get it out, get it on paper, and then try and push it away. And that way I smile the next day when I know, I feel great. I got that off my chest, you know?
Right. I love that. I think it's great because seeing you smile and it helps other people to feel better. When you see someone smiling and happy and being around you and knowing how you are, it's like the buzzing, the excitement, like what I felt for the last few days since I met with you for the second time. I'm like, there's something about it that makes you feel heightened, like it's the happiness and your genuine personality and the way that you come across. And I keep telling everybody that, even like still today, I've told people, my family and some of my friends, I'm like, oh my god, I met up with Trevor the other day and I'm buzzing and like I've been on such a super high and excited and telling people. I'm like, in on YouTube, I'm like, I'm still buzzing. Oh my god, I've done like 3 videos today. And I'm like, I'm still super happy because of seeing you. I've gone from being fairly happy to like, boom, like it's amazing what happiness can do. It's like the way you interact. It's just like, wow, you've hyped me on such a new like level. I'm like, it's incredible what you do for people. The next question I'm going to ask you is, what are your hobbies and what are they?
Oh, what's my hobbies? Do I have hobbies? I would say reading, but that would be a lie. I've got loads of books. I mean, I really do have loads of books. I mean, they're all, every copy is signed by the author.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
I know. I used to, yeah. So I should really read a lot more, Gemma, but I don't. A lot of people send me their books and go, Trev, what do you think of this? Can you give it a review? And I'm a cheater because I look at other people's reviews and then I try and base my reviews off them because I know I'm an ass, aren't I? So I suppose I collect. I'm a collector. So
oh, yes. Very much like me.
I collect. I collected cufflinks for a while. I think I've got about 30 sets. Ties. I think I've got about 50 ties. I collect books. I collect things. I'm a collector. I'm a hoarder. So I do that.
I'm very much like you in that regard too. Like, I collect a lot of things, as you know. I'm a big Elvis fan, so I have like, if I actually turn my laptop around so people can actually see, these boxes on my floor right there are full stacked to the brim of Elvis clothing and Elvis memorabilia. Plus, I've got 2 drawers down here that are full of stuff, and I love collecting stuff. Well, I get excited when I get the parcel to the door and I'm unboxing it. I'm like, oh, what have I brought? And I'm like, oh, a t-shirt, oh, a hoodie, and I just love it. I get excited. I love buying things. It's the thrill of it. I'm like, oh.
Everyone loves buying things.
I just collect things. I love it. I think it's great. And people are like, Gemma, how much more do you need?
Well, yeah.
Sorry, Trevor?
I'm just thinking. I like going to sit with my son taking fishing. I mean, when he's with me, I make sure. I suppose
Hey, Graham.
When my son's happy and smiling, I feel happy. When Gwen's happy and my ex-wife's happy and my mum and dad's happy, that's my whole circle. That's my world. Whenever they're all smiling and happy, then I don't need to do anything. If someone in that circle is not great, then it makes me feel shit. I need to make sure that people around me are great. Whether that's helping in different ways. That's basically it.
Yeah. Hello to Graham, by the way. He just came in the chat. Yes, you do love coffee, yes. Trevor is a really good coffee connoisseur, I'd say. He has tastes in coffee, and like he's mentioned, the Soldier On coffee brand that he's currently drinking, I believe.
Yes.
He does like his coffees. When we've met up the first time, Trevor has his Americano, and he's he's a connoisseur of coffees.
Oh, I've had them all. I've had all the brands. I've tried them all. You have to try them all out. A lot of the coffees. Yeah, so I suppose that's my thing. Coffee.
Yeah.
Found in a coffee shop.
Yeah, my thing is Elvis, and I do like a good hot chocolate. I must admit, I've actually just bought myself a hot chocolate machine because I want to start having more hot chocolates in the evening. Now it's getting cold, and I can start sitting here with my mug of hot chocolate of choice, which will be good. The next question I've got for you, Trevor: do you have any favourite movies?
Movies. Oh, well, I'm going to say one of my favorite movies is a film called I Am That Man. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I Am That Man. I Am That Man. It's on Netflix. I haven't seen it in a while. It's on Amazon. Doesn't matter. But I Am That Man was written, directed, and acted by Matthew Marsden.
Okay.
And me and Matthew spoke about this for months and months and months, probably well over a year. And then he brought this movie out. And take it any way you want. Matthew Marsden plays in this movie a veteran who's came back from conflict in Afghanistan. He's trying to settle in. So he comes back from Afghanistan. He's a bit broken. He's letting on there's nothing wrong with him. He's married with a boy. And his marriage falls apart. And it hit me hard watching that movie. And I get a lot out of it. But he wrote that and directed that, and then he sent me a screening before it got released. And honest to God, it broke me because it just reminded me of the stuff I was going through. So I'll put that up there at the top.
Yeah.
Only because it's so personal to me. So
yeah, I guess if you're watching a combat film like that, it's going to produce emotions that you're going through or have gone through. And I guess for veterans, it must be hard for you guys to watch, or ladies, I should say as well, servicemen, women. It must be hard for you guys.
Well, I sent him copies of all my drafts of all the stuff I was writing. And then he produced that movie based on a broken veteran come back from Afghanistan who had a son, like I had, who had a wife, who everything fell apart. And watching it just sort of it hurt really badly watching that. But I could see the passion and how he made that movie look. That movie was, to me, was just the perfect example of how things happen in reality. So that's why it sort of hurt. But I enjoyed watching that. I think my mum and dad watched that. I think I sent my mum and dad a copy of that. I can't remember. I'll have to check with them. But yeah, so there we go. I Am That Man. Brilliant movie. And what Matthew did when he was making that movie is he went and hired loads of veterans to play the parts in the movie. So, yeah, there's that one. And
that's awesome.
I actually watched a movie yesterday. You'll laugh. Jesus. I got Netflix back. I went and got Netflix back because I wanted to watch the back of the thing. But I have watched the movie, which I thought was brilliant. I watched it with Gwen the other day. I don't know if you can remember this, but many years ago, there used to be a program called Neighbours in Home and Away, right?
Yes.
There was an actress in Neighbours who went on to be a pop singer. Her name is Delta Goodrem.
Yes, Delta Goodrem. Yes, I know her, yeah.
So I was watching them. I like these movies, by the way. It's called Love Is in the Air.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Love Is in the Air. Made in Australia. And I was watching it. I thought, oh, this woman's really attractive. She's stunning. She's beautiful. And I was thinking, and I said it out loud, that looks like Delta Goodrem. But when I hit pause on the movie and looked at the titles, her name didn't come up. So I thought, maybe it's not. But then I was reading today in the media that it is Delta Goodrem. It's her first acting since Neighbours, and it's brilliant. So I like those type of stories.
Yeah.
Love those stories, especially at nighttime. Shut the curtains, wee glass of wine, and let's watch, I don't know.
Oh, sounds heaven.
Exactly.
I love a good movie too, don't get me wrong. Like, I love movies. One of my favourites has to be Edward Scissorhands, with Johnny Depp, film directed by Tim Burton. And a lot of people don't know that Tim Burton, if you don't know, Tim Burton is actually officially autistic. He self-declared himself as autistic a couple of years ago in the press, and it went viral everywhere. And his wife, Helen Bonham Carter, actually admitted that he's autistic as well. And I just love his creative genius, the way that he films his films and the dark humour. I get that because of being autistic. I think that's hilarious. And people they say, oh, why would you laugh at such a dark film? I'm like, it's not the fact it's dark, it's the fact that it's the humour, it's the unusual patterns in the movie that he does. He'll make the character say weird things that you wouldn't usually say. And I'm just like, I find it hilarious. I'm like, it's genius the way he puts things together. And I'm like, this is brilliant. I love it. I love Tim Burton movies. Alice in Wonderland, another great film he did. That was excellently done with Mila Kunis. That was a brilliant film. So I love some sci-fi films and my horror films. I'm a big horror buff. I love things like The Shining, classic horror film, the Scream movies. I sit here in the dark often and watch a horror movie in my bedroom on TV. I'm like, in the past, I've had my sister go to me, why are you so twisted? Like, why are you so obsessed about sitting in the dark watching horror movies? I'm like, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I love it. I love the gore and the fright and being made to jump. It's just, I love the atmosphere of it. I just think it's brilliant.
I'm not into horrors, unfortunately.
No, I understand why. Yeah, I understand why, because of the jumps and stuff. Yeah, I understand that sets your triggers and things off, which I totally understand that.
Well, you got to look at it from another point of view, Gemma. There's enough trauma in my head already without adding horror movies to it. So I would rather watch a love story and bring myself down, bring my adrenaline level down.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand that. The horror movies aren't for everyone. I never used to be as big horror fan as I was until a few years ago when my nan gave me some of her horror DVDs. She went, you either have them, Gemma, or they're going to go to charity. I was like, oh, okay. In that case, I'll take them. And I just got hooked on them. Whereas before, I would never ever think about horror films. Didn't interest me. It wasn't really my type of film. But I am a horror freak / I do love, like you say, a good romance film. I do like a good chick flick now and again to kind of bring me down, chill me out a little bit. So I understand that. And then another question I've got for you is, if you could pick one favorite food and one favorite drink, what would it be?
That's a very good question. Right. I'm going to go with cottage pie.
Okay.
Drink. Going to go with coffee.
Okay. I must admit, I do love a good bit of cottage pie. It's actually yummy, especially the way it's made. I think it's not for everyone's tastes. But it's a very quaint.
I make good fajitas. I make brilliant fajitas, and I make a good spaghetti bolognese. I make good food.
What's your recipe, Trevor?
With my fajitas?
Yeah, what's the recipe? Or is it a secret?
Do you know what, Gemma? Right. I don't know why you asked it. Right. What I will do is I will get my 3 colored peppers. I'll wash them, clean them out, chop them all up. I put olive oil. Is it olive oil? Virgin olive oil? Doesn't matter. I do that. I will fry all my peppers up. I have a bowl in the oven, which is empty. And once I finish doing it, I then make sure that I sieve all the oil out so the oil doesn't go in with the peppers. And I put the peppers in there. I then do the same with mushrooms. I get about 30 mushrooms. I chop them all up. I fry them. I mix it with the peppers. Right? I then get my 3 or 4 breasts of chicken. I grill them. Now, once I finish grilling them, right, most people, I don't know how people do it with a knife, but I would hold mine with tongs, and I will use scissors, my meat scissors, and I will chop up all those breast chicken so it's really, really small, and that's all that breast mixed in the frying pan with my sauces and all. Ooh. Once it's all done, I then put it in the oven with the sauce, and I let it sit for about 20 minutes, and that's how I make my chicken fajitas.
Oh, that's yummy. It's making me feel hungry. I must admit, I'm a good spag bowl person. Like I can cook a decent spag bowl. Like I had my dad round here a couple of weeks ago, and he goes, "What's for dinner, Gemma?" And I went, "Well, what do you think's for dinner?" I said, "What's the one dish I'm good at?" Everyone says that I taste the best of doing. He goes, "You can do a spag bowl with mushrooms and sweet corn, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah." So my dad sits in the room with a beer in my lounge. I'm cooking in the kitchen, and he goes, I don't know how the prep you do it, Gemma, but he goes, every time it tastes different. But I'm like, wow. I add little bits of vegetables and stuff. And my dad's like, you got to tell me your recipe. I'm like, no.
Well, that's how I do my bits and pieces. But I also have about, if it's me and my son and Gwen, there'll be about 15 little small wraps. I'll have a bowl filled with grated cheese. I'll have a bowl filled with sour cream, and then I just sort of put the sour cream on the wrap, put all the stuff I've made in the oven in there, a little bit of grated cheese, and we have our wraps. We'll sit down and have our wraps. It's quite nice to sit and share.
Awesome.
Oh, lovely.
A good glass of little bit of bubbly or a nice soft drink goes down well with a good wrap and a good meal. Always a pleasure. It's always good to know.
Sometimes Gwen will have a glass of wine. Very rare, but she will. I'd rather have sounds awful. I'd rather have a tin of Coke or a tin of orange Fanta. I'd rather just. I'm easily pleased, Gemma.
I love Fanta. Talking of Fanta, I've actually got my Fanta right here next to me. in my cup, I poured it before the stream. I was like, what do I want to drink today? I was like, I have a Fanta. And the last question I've got for you, Trevor, what charities do you think we as people who aren't military based need to know about? Is there any charities you wish to promote?
Right. The first thing I will say is, and a big charity which deals with everything is the Salvation Army. That's the top charity in my book. They do great stuff to everyone, not just veterans, to everyone. I stick with PTSD Resolution because they haven't fixed me.
Yeah.
They're the ones that got me. They got me out of the gutter and put me in the street now. So PTSD Resolution do great stuff, and also SAFA. But when I say SAFA, I don't mean SAFA HQ in London, because a lot of charities have their head. All these big fancy charities have their headquarters in London. So if you donate money to those charities, it goes straight to London. It lines the pockets of the CEOs. But if you turn around and say, I want you to donate money to SAFA Southend, the money doesn't go to London. It has to go to the branches. So as long as you name the branches, then the money goes to that branch. So SAFA, PTC Resolution, and Salvation Army. I'm not saying they're the ones for me. Everyone's different. So there's lots of charities that do great stuff. There really is, Gemma. But
it's just ones that to help you and to help veterans, because anything I can do on my end and my community as your friend to help support veterans, the better outreach we can get. If we can donate to charities that actually are going to help veterans to get treatment and support, I'm willing to do that, because as a granddaughter of veterans, I want to raise the profile of it and go, hey, there is charities out there that will help these guys, these women. And if I can do that, it'd be fantastic to show my support to veterans, because there isn't enough of it. And having you on here is that as that lead example. It's an honor to be helpful and supporting a great cause. It's important to me. So,
well, thank you, Gemma. There's lots of people out there that do good stuff. Nobody gets to hear of them though.
No, they don't. Which is why we have veterans like yourself who are legit and have gone through the experiences, and you still deal with it on a day-to-day basis. I know days are difficult for you sometimes, and you do really well with how you come across on streams and videos, and being your friend, getting to know how you are. And I'm like, it inspires me, because unless you raise that profile, unless you see that person face to face like I am now with you, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors, because you don't see the impact of coming out of the combat situation or the post-traumatic stress disorder or traumatic injuries, because you're still healing. There's still things that we're not going to understand because we're not you. So having that little snippet from you helps us to get a better picture, I guess, of how to support you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, if there are veterans out there that are struggling, I always sort of say to them, go onto the internet, type in PTSD Resolution. The link will come up, click on it, and you can straight away put yourself forward for treatment. It won't cost you a penny, and you'll get looked at. And that's the best way. But it's getting people to do it.
Vicky's got a question. She says she's got CPTSD and has no help. Is there any support lines or helpful links?
So she's got complex post-traumatic stress disorder. It depends. There is help out there, but it depends her background. First of all, is she a veteran or is she a civilian? That's one thing that we need to find out, because charities would only deal with one or the other. So that's where we need to find out.
Okay.
Is she a veteran? Is she a military veteran, or has she got
She says that she
CPTSD?
can't say on here, but she's on it. She's in a ongoing situation.
Yeah, well, you can tell people if you're a civilian or a veteran, surely.
Yeah, she says she's not a veteran. She just put it in the chat. Yeah.
Okay, well then, what I'll do then is this someone you know, Gemma?
Yeah, I know Vicky. I've known her for a while. She's in
Okay.
the chat. Yeah.
So whenever we finish the video, I'll send you a link to an organization that could possibly help her.
Okay, brilliant, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. I don't want to keep Trevor too much longer. It's been an hour and 16 minutes. I know Trevor's probably got other things to be getting on with, and I don't want to take his time up. So thank you so much, guys, for being in the chat and being so awesome and supporting Trevor. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Trevor, why not? It's free. Get your sorry asses over there and subscribe to him, and you won't regret it. It's an awesome channel. He's fun. He live streams on a Sunday at 7 p.m. British time, and we have a laugh. It's fun. Trevor debates the news that's on that he talks about during the week, and he gives his own spin on things. He talks about veterans and mental health, things that you'll find interesting, similar to what my channel is. But I'm gonna wrap this up for now, guys. You've been absolutely awesome. I've held about 22 for the majority, so thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me and Trevor. Please go to Trevor's channel, subscribe, and until the next time, have a great weekend, guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Stream.